Thank you all for being here. This is an exciting event, and I see lots of fantastic and curious minds. The one thing that I love about this conference is everyone we met, even at the dinner we hosted, everyone was very curious and excited to learn. So my objective today is, along with Seth, I want to walk through the exact steps we took to help Ammunition Depot save $240K in support costs. And my hope is that at the end of this presentation, with or without Richpanel, you should be able to implement this for your business and probably see like similar kind of savings and similar kind of results in your business. Uh, okay, so to start with, not too long ago, Sam Altman had like a betting pool with a bunch of other CEO and his friends, and he said that soon there is going to be a one-person billion-dollar company. So this person or the founder will be able to hire a fleet of AI employees and outsource things like technology, development, marketing, support, all of those things into one. And while that's his vision, my vision for Richpanel is to have a one-person support team. So a team that traditionally required like 100+ support agents will soon require just one prompt engineer and a fleet of AI employees that will completely replace it. That's my vision for Richpanel and something that we internally hope to achieve in the next 18 months. So with that being said, why should you listen to me, and why am I standing in front of you all here? So I'm the CEO and founder, and I head the technology at Richpanel. We are a customer support help desk, AI powered, and we service over 2,000 e-commerce brands. But the fact that I'm more proud of is many of these brands are actually 9 figures. So they do more than $100 million, including the likes of Ammunition Depot that have been with us for like 3 or 4 years now. We as a company are backed by Sequoia Capital, one of the top tier firms that backs the likes of Apple, Google, Airbnb. So I'm glad that they saw Richpanel worthy to be in the same group. And as of today, the average self-service rate of a Richpanel customer is 47%. So that's the median. So any out of these 2,000 brands, once they get onboarded on Richpanel, they cut down their tickets by 47% already, right? So I would, with that being said, I would hand over to Seth to give some context and introduction about Ammunition Depot and what led them to reach out to us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Seth with Ammunition Depot. I'm the head of operations and IT there. You're seeing me instead of our CEO, Dan. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. I've been for the past 19 years, both informally in the beginning and now formally optimizing and automating processes via technology, via various means. I'm very passionate about AI technology and what it can do to just help businesses perform things, in some cases better than humans can, in a lot of cases better than humans can, in the past few years especially. So that's me. Again, there's Dan. As I said, he can't be here today, so hopefully I'll be able to help Amit and show you guys what's happening. So what happened? Dan joined Ammunition Depot, I think almost 10 years ago at this point. He came in, he is a ferocious business person. He came in, made new contacts, revamped our whole marketing strategy, got new vendors with better deals for products, and just essentially skyrocketed our sales. And then COVID came along and gave another nitro boost of sales that no one was expecting. So the sales are through the roof. Dan's thrilled. We're making money. But then customer service. With great profits comes great responsibility for closing tickets. And while disposable income and e-commerce can take the money and the credit card numbers as fast as you can imagine, you still, back then, needed an agent to answer each and every question, regardless of whether it was asking, hey, did my order ship? Where is it? I have another question. Every single thing was a manual interaction. So we're onboarding these agents as fast as we possibly can, but even with our current plans to scale the business further, it's just not scalable to keep adding customer service agents, more agents. So at some point, Dan got a hold of Richpanel. They had been through every ticketing system I'd ever heard of. When I onboarded, I found remnants of code and database credentials laying around from every system you could possibly imagine. And Richpanel really helped us to have a significant savings, specifically $240,000, almost $250,000 per year of savings from agents that we no longer had to have hand-holding these customer service requests. So.
Awesome. Thanks for that intro. By the way, that prompt was from Midjourney. So that's not actual Dan laughing with money flowing around, but I actually used Midjourney, gave it Dan's picture and said that make a CEO laughing, making money, and that's the prompt I used. Dan was very pleased to see that picture. When these guys reached out to us, I'm going to give you like a step-by-step walkthrough of what we did. My idea here is to let you guys, give you these tips so that you can implement it even in your business, like some level of it. So the first thing that we do, like whenever we are onboarding any customer, and something that everyone should be doing, is actually using AI to identify the reasons of contact, like why are people calling you in the first place, right? And then you can further segregate it by adding like a sentiment score. If you're using something like Richpanel, you get this out of the box, but you can even use something like ChatGPT, right? So you can pretty much go in there and you could be like, okay, take my last 500 tickets, export it into an Excel sheet, put it into ChatGPT and say that, hey, categorize these into buckets of contact drivers, right? And you will get an exact idea as to why people are contacting you. Because 500 or 1,000 tickets is something that will fit into like a ChatGPT context window, and you will be able to identify why are people contacting you in the first place. You could do something similar for even CSAT scores. So if you are using Zendesk, Help Scout, one of those other platforms, you can simply go filter it by all your 1-star reviews and put it in ChatGPT and say, okay, give me a bucket of contact drivers that's actually creating this dissatisfaction. So with these 2 data points, now you know why are people contacting you, what are the top contact drivers, and what are actually people complaining about. You can also do it the other way around for your marketing. So take your 5-star reviews, put it in ChatGPT and ask, what are people happy about for my brand or my business, and use that for your UGC ads, use that for your marketing and messaging, right? So that was the first simple step. We pretty much do this within the first 24 to 48 hours of a customer getting onboarded. The ChatGPT thing that I'm telling you, you could do it on like 100 or 200 without exhausting the ChatGPT limit. You can actually upload CSV. What we do it is we go a step further. We do it for 10,000 conversations. So that's like a more accurate representation of why people are contacting you, why are they upset, why are they happy. That's stage 1. After that, we then put them in 3 buckets, right? So one thing that you have to be very mindful of is like, you don't want to eliminate all types of queries. In some queries, you actually want to encourage the human contact, right? Like product questions, sales questions, right? That's where you want to like redirect them to a human being right away. But when it comes to like Wizmo, or I want to like return something, or I have some issues with my order, those things are very time consuming for agents, and those are the things that you need to go after. And I firmly believe in that 80-20 rule. You need to identify the top 5 contact drivers that could help you like drop down your contact volumes by 30 or 40%, right? And each project, then you take like each project, like, hey, let's implement, like in the case of them, they're getting like a lot of requests on orders going on hold because of ID verification or some documentation that is pending. So we automated that process. Somebody comes on the website, they're like, okay, why is my order put on hold? Oh, we need some more credentials or ID. They upload that, and that gets like completely streamlined inside of Richpanel. So the 3 buckets are what can be completely automated without human intervention, what can be streamlined. So another example of that is people coming to you saying like items are damaged. Not sure how many of you, but do you all get a query similar to where is my order or items are damaged? Okay. Not sure if you guys are doing it, but most companies have a SOP to collect the picture of the damaged item. So they can assess the damage and then decide whether a refund needs to be given or not. So this has a little bit of back and forth, but you could actually have collected these details upfront so that agents are ready for a one-touch resolution, right? So that's what we call like semi-automated. And the third one is sales queries that you really want to push the agents towards. So these are the 3 buckets that we divide the contacts in. The next step is we create self-service flows to automate and semi-automate the queries that we identified in the previous step, right? The next thing that we do is, because we integrate with Magento, with your returns app, with your loyalty points, with your fulfillment app, the agents actually have all the information in one tool or one window. If you talk to your support agents, it's not uncommon for them to be like switching between 8 or 10 different apps. But if you can put all of that in one place, not only did we automate stuff on the front end, but once the ticket actually reaches the agent has everything available in that one window where they're able to see, okay, this is the customer I'm talking to, this is their LTV, this is the order that they're probably referencing to, and they're able to like create a replacement, do an edit, do a cancellation from that one single interface. Not sure if it's visible here, but yeah, you have agent is actually viewing the conversation here, and on the right-hand side, they see like the LTV, they see the orders they've placed, and they're able to like perform actions without leaving the interface. So it's not just about automating, but it's also helping agents do more within less time, right? Making them more productive, right? The other thing that we have done is like, is where we are finding a very good use case for AI, is training the AI on that imported conversations from step 1 and training the AI to help draft replies for the agents. So I just did a demo in the morning today, and somebody like on their live store, and you could literally prompt the AI, like somebody wrote a very frustrated email saying that they're not happy with this and they want to refund the product, but they were outside the return window. So the agent actually typed 2 words in the AI prompt saying like, return expired, no refund, bye-bye, so, which is so rude. But then the AI actually took that direction and drafted a very empathetic reply with the salutation, with the line break saying like, hi Stephanie, I understand how frustrating this can be. Typically we allow like, refund claims to be made in 30 days, but your order is already 45 days past due, and we can't be of much help today, but if there's anything else I can help you with. So it drafted such a nice empathetic reply from no refund, bye-bye, and it took that into something so beautiful. But it's taking that grunt work out of it, right? Because in the back end, that's exactly what human beings are doing. We're just making a decision, but the work actually goes in like 3 minutes and drafting that long empathetic reply. The other thing that we're doing is that we took inspiration from Perplexity, is grounding the AI. You do not have time if you're expecting that, hey, your head of CX or head of ops is going to be spending 6 weeks training the AI and all, that doesn't happen in real life. So what you need to do is you need to leverage your past conversations and use that to train the AI so that it's grounded in reality, and it always references, not sure if you can see in the screen, it says generated using 2 sources. So it actually references and recalls past conversations where a similar situation was handled by a human being, and it says that, oh, I took inspiration from Jason, or I took inspiration from this guy that wrote a very similar, handled a very similar conversation a few months ago, right? So you can trust the AI because it's taking inspiration from actual human responses. As a result of this is what the customers are actually seeing. So when they go on the self-service portal, think of it as like a Amazon's My Account section, right? That's exactly what we did. My whole company is like, taking inspiration from Uber, taking inspiration for DoorDash or things like that. And my product manager, one of them is here. They hate it when I say the word copy, so I'm going to stick to inspiration. So we took inspiration from Uber, we took inspiration from Amazon to see how these guys are actually reducing their contact rate. So if you look at this is a customer where if an order is on time, this is actual ammunition depot order. If an order is on time and they want to track it, it actually shows you the real life status of the order. When is it expected to arrive? What's the tracking URL, tracking number, that kind of stuff. But in the event that it is delayed, then they see this, like, hey, we see that your order was placed on so-and-so date. We are currently running a 3 to 5 business days shipping delay. We are, so this is not an FAQ. This is personalized with that customer's data, and based on the situation of the order date, order status, the answers are changing right inside the self-service portal, right? So this is like one example how it affects the customer's life. This is another one. So somebody goes in and says that I want to cancel my order, and we say like, hey, order is already shipped, so we can't cancel it, but you can track it here, right? So you can see, like, we just avoided like 3 tickets, and that's what is happening in an e-commerce business. Majority of the tickets are repetitive, and you want this mundane stuff out of the way for agents so they can focus on the high value stuff. This is another one where items are damaged, so you can pretty much go inside. You're able to like ask customer, okay, you're within the claims window, you're within 30 days of receiving the item, so I can still accept this damaged item claim. You can even go one step further and say like, okay, anyone who has spent more than like $5,000, maybe the return window or the damaged item claim window is like double from the regular people. So it's not just like being like robotic or clinical with all your customers, but actually using lifetime value as a metric to differentiate between your return policies. Because one of the other things that you will see is that if I'm spending, just yesterday we met this customer and they were wearing Zero shoes. So I said, oh, Zero shoes is a customer to us, right? So they're like, I'm a 4-figure LTV for them, right? I bought shoes for me, I bought shoes for my wife, I bought shoes for all of that. So I'm like, oh, I'm meeting them next week, I'll definitely mention you. But the fact is that every customer that's spending that kind of money, and he's an e-com guy, so he's like thinking how much LTV he is worth to Zero shoes. But in our hearts, we all know as customers how much we are spending with a particular brand, and we deserve to be treated a certain way. So the self-service can actually mimic that, right? It can mimic like, okay, we have a separate policy for our high-value customers and a separate one for this. Oops. So let's jump into the results. I'll let Seth actually talk about the kind of results they see as implementing what I just showed.
Thank you. So what happened? You brought in all of our tickets, you ran through everything, you figured out our biggest pain points, and you turned those into self-service requests. What do we get out of that? So we went from having 100% customer service agent interaction to then a 68% self-service interaction.
It's awesome, 68%, right? That's amazing.
It isn't just that you set that up, but in my opinion, it's because you put it inside of the chat widget, so the customer will come in and attempt to go to chat, and you're immediately giving them the self-service options. They don't have to go through a My Account portal or through 5 different pages. They're going looking for a chat, and they're getting an answer within seconds without having to actually talk to someone, so they end up just as happy. Which leads us to our second win, which was you would think potentially with automation you might get a worse customer experience, but we actually, through tracking of customer satisfaction inside of Richpanel, ended up with a better customer experience. Part of that is obviously the instant resolution they were getting from the self-service, and another part of that is definitely freeing up our human agents to answer the real questions, to answer the product questions, things of that nature. So we actually took this increased rating and we use that to leverage various review platforms. So what Richpanel does, as soon as somebody gives us a 5-star review inside of Richpanel, it will immediately prompt them to review us on the platform of our choice. So we'll take this fire hose of happy customers and point it at Trustpilot, which you can see up there. And then once our Trustpilot is, solidly almost in the triple digits of 5-star reviews, we'll point it at Google reviews, and we'll just take turns with different platforms, and it helps keep our reviews up, which everybody in e-com knows is very important because the customers are always looking for those positive reviews.
Yeah, and if you go to like Trustpilot Ammunition Depot now, you'll see like all the reviews, like 90 out of 100 are coming from customer service. Like everyone mentions customer service. So that's the source of reviews.
So as I was saying just moments ago, our agents that were typically answering tracking requests, ID verification requests are now freed up to help customers with pre-sales questions, which is actually tracked inside of Richpanel. So we can see that we're almost at 2 million generated via customer interactions through either Richpanel or over the phone with a 12% conversion rate, which is far above our non-interacting conversion rate. So we're very happy to see that.
Perfect.
Dan's favorite part. I'm not Dan. Interestingly, I spoke to Dan this morning, and him and I were in agreement without actually talking. So our favorite part of working with Richpanel is how much they've taken care of us. So I've been doing software implementations most of my professional life, dealing with many different customer service ticketing systems, phone systems, you name it. Some of them are, half of the business is geared towards professional services dollars. Richpanel took care of everything. I run ops and IT, and between our customer service manager and your team, I don't hear anything about Richpanel. You guys work with them to train the agents, which I didn't have to be a part of. You guys work with them to implement everything. I think to get it going in Magento was 2 or 3 lines of JavaScript, and you did the rest. And then an API key in Magento typed into Richpanel, and we get order information inside of Richpanel. We get all of our phone calls, which is a separate system inside of Richpanel, and not one IT finger was lifted during that entire process. So much appreciated.
Thank you, thank you. So the whole thing is like, we acknowledge that, you guys as founders, head of operations are extremely busy. So one of the things that we invested a lot of R&D in is like making sure that you're able to see the results in like less than a couple of weeks, and go live immediately, right? So most of the brands, even if they are like 100 million and above, they go live with us in like 2 to 3 weeks, and no IT involvement. I have like other few slides, but if you guys are more interested in like AI applications, please drop by our booth because we're running short on time. But to sum up, if you guys want to like implement this in your business, simple steps. First, start with like just basic prompting. Understand why people are contacting you. That's like step 1. Step 2 is then revamp your FAQs. Add returns portal if returns is like one of the primary reasons why people are contacting you. Add like order tracking, order flowing apps, right? Order tracking apps. Whatever is the contact reason. Some people could be getting warranty requests. So that's the second step that you do. And the third thing that you need to do is also help your agents become more productive with some kind of AI assistance or like internal wiki or agent wiki, things like that. So that's what hopefully all of you can walk away with and make your customer support better, save more money, and increase your CSAT scores. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Appreciate it.
Don't go away just yet. We have Q&A.
You said 5 minutes, so I was like rushing through the last few
You
slides.
did good on time. Okay, any questions from the audience, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
So with a lot of AI, we see great engagement with text-based interactions. What do we do for our voice conversations? People calling in or people who are just used to automatically picking up the phone?
That's a great question. So we are not too far away from implementing the same thing on phone as well. I would say like we are like around, in case of Richpanel, we are like 1 year away from focusing on phone channels. The other thing that we have noticed is, like I said this at the dinner also yesterday, I bought 20 times from Amazon last year. The number of times I contacted them was 0. So it's about habit forming. If I am able to do returns, cancellations, order tracking on my phone using the Amazon My Account app, I am going to be very reluctant actually calling you, texting you, because I can do that with a button. Same thing happens with like, if you buy a Richpanel subscription, we make it like very easy for you to cancel. Because how come it's so easy for me to take your money, but when you want to leave, I'm like, oh, contact customer support. That's terrible, right? So you need to make it very easy for customers to do all of that stuff, and they will not call you. That's at least like what we have seen. And you redirect the product and the sales questions and prompt them for calls. That's actually a good strategy.
Can I help you out a little bit? Interestingly, the text-to-speech and then the speech-to-text are separate. So if you're building out an application that starts out as a chat agent, once you're ready to switch over to voice and you're translating text into voice and voice back into text, you're not losing anything. So all the work that you're doing now to build out an AI chat agent or whoever's doing to build out a chat agent, it is, I don't want to say trivial, but to move it over onto the phone side isn't as big of a lift as you would think. So definitely put the effort into the chat first, because the voice side is just going to get easier and easier.
Any more questions from the audience, please?
On your terms of exchange, you had an example up there earlier. I think it was a return with photos. So we're in the gold and silver business. We have a lot in common. Like when you said We need to look at your ID, your orders on, a lot of our orders go on hold and stuff like that. And then the other one is returns exchanges, like, oh, something's wrong with the product. It's not as easy as Amazon where you just send back whatever you want. Like, there's actual real policies we gotta go through. Can you walk through that flow of how you handle returns exchanges specifically on the photo side?
Yeah, so in the case of photos, as of today, it's not like it's going to the agent. If you're assuming that, hey, that's also going to be reviewed by AI and approved, we are not there yet. It's not because it's not possible, it's because we are also like, going after bigger contact drivers, right? So we are trying to like automate stuff that is going to have like meaningful business impact. But in this particular case, what the AI and the self-service flows are doing is checking your eligibility, checking the lifetime value, making sure that you're within the eligibility window before you can submit the request. And at the time of submitting the request, I'm asking you, what's the order, what's the item, what exactly is the issue, and the picture. So as an agent, when I'm reviewing it, I'm not like reading through like big blocks of text. I'm seeing like very structured information. I see it, I click one button on the right-hand side. Okay, approved, not approved. Have AI draft the reply. Okay, it's approved, and the AI writes the whole thing, and I move on to the next thing. Right? So it's still agent being involved, but instead of like 6 back and forths or 3 back and forths, it's now one message, and it takes like 1 minute to resolve it or 30 seconds to resolve it.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. And because, again, I don't know if there's other platforms to do it, because it's inside of the chat, the customer is said, okay, I need this information, and then they're still there. If the customer sends an email, even if you have an auto reply that tells them everything they need, there's a chance that they're gonna send the email, and then the customer is already gone out of their inbox, and they're gonna be back who knows when. And it's those delays that just stretch out that case or that ticket. But when you get all the information you need and the customer service agent touches it once and then it's done, is the second best thing that you can hope for versus it getting automatically handled by itself.
Any more questions?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Awesome.